Good morning. This is the podcast Ancient Rome Today. The Feast of Love, Saint Valentine's Day, is approaching. However, did you know that a sort of love has roots in ancient Rome? At those times it was called Lupercalia and was celebrated from February 13th to 15th. So today we'll talk about this holiday and discover how it was transformed into Valentine's Day. First of all, it's necessary to mention that February was considered a month of purification in ancient Rome. It was time to prepare for the new year, which began in March, by wiping away everything old and getting ready for the new. Lupercalia was celebrated in the middle of the month. It was one of the most ancient and beloved Roman holidays. It honored the god Faunus, who was the protector of flocks and the pastoral world. He was also called Lupercus, meaning the protector against wolves. So the holiday was named after him correspondingly. Nowadays, the appearance of wolves in cities seems something unreal, although wild boars, lions, and other animals appear in Rome from time to time. However, in ancient times, wolves frequently entered Rome, especially in February, after a long winter, because they were hungry. Therefore, Romans asked for Faunus's protection during Lupercalia. For that, animal sacrifices were made during the Lupercalia. To be more specific, goats were sacrificed in a cave. Legend says that this was the cave where the she-wolf raised the twins Romulus and Remus. After the sacrifice was completed, a special rite took place. The knife was dipped into the blood of the sacrificed animals. Then it was passed across the foreheads of two priests called Luperci. Immediately afterward, they wiped it with a wad of wool soaked in milk. At this point, the two young men were required to laugh. Then the skins of the sacrificed goats were cut into strips. After that, each of the 24 Luperci took 1 or 2 stripes and started racing around the Palatine Hill, beating anyone they encountered with those stripes. The Luperci's ritual whippings had a fertilizing power, so many women offered themselves voluntarily. Being beaten during the Lupercalia procession was considered a very auspicious rite for fertility. The feast of Lupercalia was celebrated until the end of the 5th century AD. In 495 AD, when Christianity became increasingly widespread, things changed. So Pope Gelasius first officially banned the pagan festival of Lupercalia. A year later, in 496 AD, Pope Gelasius established the celebration of Saint Valentine on February 14th instead. However, the saint to whom the feast was dedicated had died about 2 centuries earlier. Furthermore, there wasn't just one Valentine, but at least 2 of them. The lives of 2 martyred saints named Valentine were documented in the archives, and both are honored on February 14th. One was commemorated in Terni, which is in the Umbria region, not far from Rome, and the other in Rome. Both Saint Valentines were dated to the 3rd century. The first one was a Roman priest martyred under Claudius II, ruling between 268 and 273. There are various theories and legends surrounding this saint. One of these says that he was martyred for secretly holding marriage ceremonies for Roman soldiers. Indeed, according to Roman law at the time, soldiers were forbidden to marry. The other Valentine was the bishop of present-day Terni. He was invited to Rome to preach the gospel. Valentine was arrested by Aurelian and was beheaded on February 14th in 273. His remains were taken to Terni, where they are currently kept. The connection of Saint Valentine and the Feast of Love was noted in the legends during the Middle Ages, especially in France and England. One of the legends says that February 14th is Valentine's Day because birds begin to mate in mid-February. The commercial aspect of Valentine's Day appeared at the end of the 19th century. It was further strengthened by the arrival of advertising and television. The next time you celebrate Saint Valentine's Day, you will already be aware of the historical aspects surrounding it, from the Lupercalia in ancient Rome to the story of a saint named Valentine. Thank you for your attention.